at the Valley of Elah, where David slew Goliath.
The passage today and in other verses to come in the Hebrew is much, much different than that of the Septuagint or Greek translation of the Old Testament. The verses from 12 to 31 are completely missing in the Greek translation, as are also verse 41, and from verse 54 all the way to the end. Of this, Adam Clarke, who's someone I generally agree with, says the following: notwithstanding what Bishop Warburton and others have done to clear the chronology of the present printed Hebrew, it is impossible to make a clear, consistent sense of the history unless these verses are omitted. Let anyone read the 11th verse in connection with the 32nd, leave out the 41st and connect the 54th with the 6th of 1 Samuel 18, and he will be perfectly convinced that there's nothing wanting to make the sense complete, to say nothing of other omissions noted above. If the above be taken as genuine, meaning the Hebrew that we just read, the ingenuity of man has hitherto failed to free the whole from apparent contradiction and absurdity. I must confess that where everyone else has failed, I have no hope of succeeding. I must therefore leave all farther attempts to justify the chronology and refer to those who have written for and against the genuineness of this part of the common Hebrew text. Clarke cannot make sense of the passage because it appears so oddly arranged, repetitive, and otherwise unfathomable to him. I have always taken it in exactly the opposite view, even though much of it is hard to follow. I feel bad for people who find that the word is in error. With a bit of study, which you will benefit from today, it is evident how beautifully laid out the word is and how marvelously detailed it all is. Charles Ellicott agrees with this assessment. He says the LXX, meaning the Greek translation of the Old Testament, translation not unfrequently adding or subtracting from the text when anything met them which they could not readily understand. The passage as we find it is undoubtedly genuine. Good job, Charles Ellicott. Our text verse comes from Psalm 33. No king is saved by the multitude of an army. A mighty man is not delivered by great strength. A horse is a vain hope for safety, neither shall it deliver any by its great strength. Behold, the eye of the Lord is on those who fear him, on those who hope in his mercy, to deliver their soul from death, and to keep them alive in famine. Our soul waits for the Lord. He is our help and our shield. For our heart shall rejoice in him, because we have trusted in his holy name. Let your mercy, O Lord, be upon us, just as we hope in you. What a hopeful portion of Scripture. The Lord is our help and our shield. Do you really believe that? If so, how much do you really believe that? Would you be willing to put your life on the line to find out? The fact is that all men are destined to die, well, unless the Lord comes for the church first. As this is so, then does it really, and I mean does it really matter when it happens? Is there something that will make your possible death today worse than whatever way you might die tomorrow? The battle ranks of Israel apparently felt it was so because, as we have seen in our sermon text, nobody stepped forward for 40 days. For all we know, a few of the people of the camp might have died from boredom, or from bad meat, or from getting bit by a snake while lying in their bed over the past 40 days. They will be off to meet the same God that those who are coming later will meet. But how shameful it is to think that they had met him while lacking in faith during their time encamped in the Valley of Elah. Think it through. Where is your faith? It's time for you to ask yourself what you believe. Yes, I stole that line from a movie, Indiana Jones, The Last Crusade, but it is true. The Lord is watching us as we live our lives. Be people of faith. Have trust in his promises and live for him no matter what giants you may face. These are marvelous lessons that we can learn from his superior word. And so let us turn to that precious word once again, and may God speak to us through his word today, and may his glorious name ever be praised.